Good morning, Mesquite friends and soon-to-be friends. Oh, it is Thursday morning. It is a beautiful sunny morning out there. It's going to be a great day. Great day for softball and baseball, as a matter of fact. We have Little League tonight at 5 o'clock, and we also have another game that I believe starts at 7:30. So get on out to the field, support those great little athletes. They are wonderful. We've been having a great time running the concession stand, and that's Ray's Mesquite. So anybody who wants to come out and buy their snacks, you are benefiting a great nonprofit that does some really wonderful things for people in the community. Things like obtaining recliners for patients who are going through some serious treatments and need a little bit more comfort for what they're doing. Somebody who is maybe having help or having trouble paying a bill, a utility bill or rent, we've helped with that. We've helped when a couple of the waitresses were around town, the servers were out of town at the beginning of the pandemic. We raised money to help the waitresses, some of those servers who had families, and a whole bunch of good things. Medical equipment that, usually the First Baptist Church, they have a huge selection of medical equipment that they will put on loan to people for free. But, sometimes their things are kind of out of inventory. So that's where Ray's Mesquite comes in. Carly Toutant especially is extremely efficient at gathering up whatever those needs may be and hooking one person up with another. And that's pretty much what Ray's is all about. And her sister Beth has been a godsend, helping coordinate everything with the softball and the Little League, getting all of the schedules out and, volunteers and helping us load up and stock and clean the concession stand. Thursday nights, I guess we're going to have to pack everything up. Just found out they've got some tournaments coming in over the weekend, and apparently it's going to be every weekend coming up. I'm not sure exactly what all of those tournaments are. They are baseball tournaments. I believe the first one coming up this weekend might be a Geezer softball league, and then they have several tournaments booked throughout the summer. So, well, at least throughout the Little League season, I know it's going to be every night or every weekend that we're going to be doing the Little League as well. So, Beaver Dam Jam is coming up. It will be May 7th, 8th, and 9th, and it's going to be a little bit different. It is not your ordinary Beaver Dam Jam. Because of COVID and all of the restrictions and everything, they decided to let loose and do something much bigger and better. So there's going to be not the Beaver Dam Jam and swap meet. So he's got vendor tables available for the 3 days. They're $10 per day, or all 3 days for $25. But the festival itself is free to the public. They usually charged, I think it was like $35 for the 3-day pass for that, but that's going to be open to everybody. And there's entertainment and bands all weekend. And as a preview to that, they will be doing this weekend the swap meet. So that'll be going Saturday and Sunday. It starts at 11 o'clock, and I believe the vendor tables for that are $10 as well. But they'll have music. They've got several different bands that are coming up with that. They've got on Saturday the Mesa Band, a band called Reciprocity. They've got from 6 to 8 on Saturday night will be Gail Louise will be heading up the karaoke. And that's always a good time. A lot of people come out for the karaoke. They just love it. And then from 8 to 10 on the inside, they won't be outside on the outside stage. From 8 to 10 will be Rick Wall, and he's gotten pretty popular. I haven't personally heard him myself, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. He's pretty fantastic, and I believe he's a one-man band. You might want to go and check him out. So on Sunday, same schedule from open until about 1 or 1:30. They're going to have Aaron Christensen, and then 2 to 4 maybe, and the times might vary a little bit. They've crossed out the schedule a couple of times, so I'm saying between 1:30 and 2:30, anywhere between there. Shelby Cunningham and friends will be taking the stage, and that's again on the outside stage. And then we have Francesca Fontaine, who's going to be doing karaoke from 6 to 8, and she's pretty fantastic. And then the Bottoms Up Band will be closing out the night. Again, that's going to be inside. So at 8 o'clock, they take everything inside so as not to disturb the neighbors or cause a big fuss outside. So that should be a good time. There are usually a bunch of people set up out there for the swap meets, and they sell a variety of different things. I'm sure Amy Patterson will probably be out there with Mystical Treasures. And she's got a lot of clothing and items, knives, and fairies, dragons, a lot of medieval stuff. So Amy is on Facebook. If you reach out to her, find out whether she's going to be out there this weekend. She's usually a pretty good one to come out to Beaver Dam. So her booth is always fun to go look at. I know that. So after that, let's see, what else do we have this weekend coming up? We have I'm not going to tell you about the weekend yet. There are a couple of upcoming events I want you to save the date for. Number one is the Murder Mystery Dinner. It's going to, again, be a fundraiser for Raise. The theme of it is the Ghoulical Ball. So it's, the show is called Bats. And we've done it before, about 10 years ago. It was a huge hit. It is a lot of fun. It's all about vampires and werewolves and monsters and ghouls. And the setting is the New Orleans Cemetery, which translates to the Beaver Dam Lodge, for all of you who are familiar with Beaver Dam. It's a great old historic lodge. They've got some old rustic decor, and we usually have a really good time. The lodge will seat about 50 people, and along with your ticket cost, you get a 3-course dinner, the show, and hopefully we'll have some entertainment, dancing, music to play afterward and during our meals. The tickets are $25 each, and that includes the dinner and the show. Again, it benefits Raise Mesquite, and Raise Mesquite does a whole lot of things for the community that are really good. So we hope that you come out and help support us. Even if you don't want to support us and you just want to have a great time, I guarantee this will be fun. Audience participation is required. We hand out audience parts, so it's not like you have to memorize anything. You can read it right off, or you can play with it, have fun with the characters. We have a lot of people who are amateur actors out there who want to get up and ham it up, and hammier the better, I guess. We also have a National Kids and Pets Day, and I just got this in yesterday. This is going to be run by Wendy's Rescue. It's Janice Redondo of the Mesquite Welcome Center. She runs a animal rescue. She's got some farm animals and domestic animals as well down in her rescue, and she's a really, really good job down there. But this particular one, she's Virgin Valley Heritage Museum and the Welcome Center are both sponsoring it. And it's the National Kids and Pets Day. It's going to be Monday, April 26th from 6 to 9 p.m. And it will take place at the Welcome Center, 460 North Sand Hill Boulevard. The flyer is on the page, so you'll be able to see that. But they're going to be showing the movie. The reason it's starting so late is they're going to show the movie The Secret Life of Pets. And that'll start up at dusk. You bring your blankets, it says, and enjoy a movie with your pets. So I imagine pets are welcome. There, you can visit during the day. There's going to be the ability to visit with horses, dogs, pigs, and other pet friends. I know when they did the Welcome Center pumpkin run at the Welcome Center, they had turkeys out there, and they had, I believe it was ducks, and they had the potbelly pigs. Pigs are just wonderful. I have a pet pig. His name is Pork Chop. Don't get mad at me. It was my husband. It wasn't me. But anyway, we had one years ago. He has passed away now. And his name was Wilbur. Well, I got to name that one. He was my pig. But I promised Philip that if we ever got another one, he would be able to pick the name. Well, I lived up to my promise, and he hit me hard with the pork chop. So I'm sorry, but that's his name, and he seems to like it. He's not upset about it. He actually really thinks he's a dog. So he comes and goes with the dogs, eats with the dogs, scratches on the door like a dog when he wants his treats. So he's learned well not to be too much of a pig. So I wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about a cornhole fest that's coming up. This is the first year Mesquite Senior Games is going to be doing a cornhole festival. Now, this is going to be part of the senior games, so they're going to have a portion of it will be competitive, but it's not all competition. It is open to families, kids, adults, old kids, whoever. It's going to be a family day. There's going to be a bunch of different activities. There could be food trucks available, vendors, whatever. A non-competitive, I guess, tournament, which won't be part of the senior games, but they're going to have like age brackets that little kids can compete in their game, and then on up and up. And that's again, not part of the senior games, but it will be a age bracket competition that you can have lots and lots of fun with. I really, really encourage everybody to try that out. It's cornhole is kind of like, if you've never played it, play it with bean bags, and there's a wooden block, kind of like horseshoes. You have to toss it straight in a pit, just like you do with horseshoes. You have to get it in the hole like you do with horseshoes. I'm not really sure. Probably most of you know cornhole a lot better than I do. But think of horseshoes with a beanbag, and that's probably a good time. So we're going to go on. I want to talk a little bit today about for new people coming into town. I know there hasn't been a lot going on all year round, and a lot of people complain there's nothing to do in Mesquite, but there's plenty to do in Mesquite. And I'm going to take each of the episodes and talk a little bit about what they do. And the first one I will continue on is with the senior games, Mesquite Senior Games. This is a national thing. It's not just something that happens here in Mesquite. Senior Games is all over the place, but we have a great Amy Bradshaw McGee. She does a great job running the Senior Games this year, and they've got a lot of different varieties. You can go to www.mesquiteseniorgames.org for a full schedule, but they have things like the Cornhole Festival that's coming up. They have a fitness hike. Not sure exactly where. I'm sure it takes place in the desert. I'm not exactly sure where. They have a history tour. The history tour is fantastic. I took that one year. And it takes you around all of the historic houses right around downtown, the downtown area around City Hall and art gallery and museum. There's stone houses, the Relief Society, several notable houses around town that they will take you to, and they have an extensive history they'll talk about on each of those buildings. Who owned them, what families were, pioneered the town. It really is a wonderful, wonderful addition to Mesquite to get to really know your town and what it's all about. They have great speakers. Though Elspeth Kuda, who runs the museum, she's one of them who talks about that history tour. And she's just a plethora of knowledge about our history. But I do encourage taking that. They'll tell you things that you would probably never know on your own, never learn about Mesquite on your own. And I'll give you a hint about one of them is the History Museum. Used to be the hospital. A long time ago, that was the hospital in Mesquite. A lot of babies born there. Anyway, beside that, they have horseshoes. They have the long drive and the 9-hole tournament, which just passed. Unfortunately, missed that one. Hopefully you didn't miss it because they did tell you about it. And those who were able to join, I hope you had the chance. But Senior Games also does pickleball tournaments. They do a poker tournament, a putting tournament. They have shotgun and target pistol shoots. That happens on April 23rd. I know that because it's my birthday. And I just love going out and watching the target shooters. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to go up against any of those men or women in competition because they are dead on. I've seen their targets. Good shots, good shots. They also have tennis and track and field, which was just recently started in the last couple of years. So any of those events that you feel you might want to, I don't see bocce ball on here. Oh, yes, I do. And a bicycle race and basketball skills. Missed all of those. Bowling, bridge, closest to the pin bowling. All of that stuff in the Mesquite Senior Games right now through the rest of the spring into the summer. There are a lot of activities that you can sign up for, and you don't always have to do it competitively, so you might want to check those out. I know they're always, even if you don't want to compete, I know they're always looking for volunteers to help take scores, run the games, hand out t-shirts, information, things like that. So, you can get involved that way as well. That's another thing I want to talk about. Mesquite is one of the reasons I learned to love Mesquite. When I first moved out here, I didn't know anybody. I did start to work at the movie theater right away. So that kind of got me a little exposed to being in the public. But it wasn't until I joined the theater group, which is the Virgin Valley Theater Group, that I really started to get to know some of these nonprofit groups, some of the arts agencies and nonprofits, and how much the people who belong to these organizations really are involved in Mesquite, period, in the city. You'll find people involved in probably a half a dozen organizations at one time. Because this is a town, a I'll say it now, and I'm sorry. Don't mean to offend any working people, but this is literally a town that's run by volunteers. Um, in my opinion, I'm not speaking for anybody else, but we have like the Virgin Valley Theater Group. They run the Mesquite Community Theater, and they also take care of all the productions of the plays that we have that perform at the Mesquite Community Theater. But we have other performers at the theater, such as Mesquite Toes. We have the comedian T.C. Morgan. We have, excuse me, the Sunshine Academy, which they do their graduation every year on the stage of the Mesquite Community Theater. We have other organizations that'll do fundraising events. We have a senior Mesquite pageant, and various other groups that for one reason or another might need to use a stage and have an audience of 199 people. And the Mesquite Community Theater, Virgin Valley Theater Group, it takes care of not only promoting some of that, along with the groups themselves promoting their own stuff, but they have to coordinate all of that. They have to take care of hiring volunteers to work the concession stands, to do seating. Can't think of the word right now. Stupid. Ushering, that's the word. Things like that. Then taking tickets, So there's a lot involved with that. And that is completely and totally not, it's owned by the city, but it is run by a volunteer group of people. And they've been doing it for years, and they've been doing it really well. And a couple of years ago, before the theater group took over, we had Miss Bunny Wisen and Bob Nelson, who are running the theater. And they took care of all of that. And it was just basically the two of them. So, that was a huge job for two people. Bob Nelson took care of most of the technical end of things, and Bunny took care of the theater the theater itself, like handing out keys and scheduling and things like that. But I got to give kudos to Chris Finnegan. So Christopher Kelly Finnegan, thank you. Him and Bob Nelson got together and several years ago put in a new light system in the theater. So we used to have those old can lights, and those old can lights were so hot. You had to change the gels, and they had these like colored sheets of clear plastic that were you had to sit in front of the light so that the light would shine through the color, and that was all. You had to climb up a ladder and take one color out, adjust the lighting, see, and if that color didn't work for you, you had to climb back up that ladder and take that gel out and put another gel in and climb back down the ladder, and all the time up and down. You're talking a 10-foot ladder, and we're old people. Okay, we're old people. That does not work after a couple of times too well. The first couple of times might be okay, but it gets to you. So that was a lot of work. And we had 20 lights to set that way. So Bob and Chris, they bought this new system. They were really careful. They got all new LED lights. So every adjustment that needed to be made, other than physically adjusting the light into a position, which was a one and done deal, because they tried to get like every angle when they first set it up. They tried to get those lights to reach every single corner, nook, and cranny that they could on the stage and beyond in the initial setup. So then from there on, all Christopher had to do was sit up it, or any other technician actually, but this was Christopher at the time, had to sit up there, and he had a color wheel on a computer screen where he could just adjust it, any color in the rainbow, or, it was a broad spectrum. It was any color in the world you could imagine, he could set that for it, just like that. So that really helped. And boy, could do special effects with it. There were a whole lot of things that you could do with this new system that was really exciting, especially to us theater people, that we didn't have the opportunity to do before. But the best thing about it in my opinion, again, was that it reduced the amount of heat we had to suffer through on stage drastically. It would be 100 degrees on stage. You know, it could be nice and cool in the audience and everything, but when you had those can lights, those really hot lights beaming down on you, and you're wearing wigs and all of this heavy makeup and all the, you know, sometimes a lot of clothing in your costumes, you're dying, absolutely dying. And I know our wardrobe people like Patty Bjornson and Marnie Bartolini probably appreciate that lighting a lot more too, because we're not sweating as much in those clothes that they have to take home and wash. I'm sure they were pretty stinky there for several years, but now it's much cooler, much more comfortable as a performer to be on stage. But there are things like that all through town. And Christopher, you know, he may have gotten paid a stipend. I don't really know. Most of his time it was completely volunteer, you know. And if he did get a stipend or a stipend, whatever you want to call it, if he did get that, it was definitely not nearly what he deserved for the work that he did and his expertise. So computer repair too, anybody interested in that, he takes care of mine. I wouldn't have anybody else. So a little shout out to you there, Chris. It really is pretty good. So then we have, since we're talking about performing, we have the Mesquite Lifelong Dancers. That is a rec center program. Lifelong Dancers, I can't tell you whole bunches about them, except those ladies really do have a great time. And they do dance for fitness and health benefits and to keep themselves limber and active. It is, like I said, it's run by the rec center, and they do, some of them do some performances, like Phyllis Littman. She's a great performer. Pam Sadler, she's part of the group. She's also one of the great performers. They will be joining the Toes during the Toes Spectacular. I'm not sure those two specifically, but some of the Rec Center Lifelong Dancers are going to be joining in with the Toes during their show. But that is a group that they meet several times a week. Their schedule is beginning, intermediate, advanced, so you don't have to, you know, have any prior skills. All you have to do is have a love for dance, and you can go check all that out with the rec center, and I'm sure you'd have a really good time with those ladies. And we have the Arts Council, the Mesquite Arts Council. That's they do every year the Festival of Trees. I don't know how active they are going to be into the near future. We had a dear member and founder, Susan Bennett, who passed away recently, and I'm saying within the last year, who was an integral part of the Arts Council. She really was a motivational person. Susan had for a long time been the drama teacher at Virgin Valley High School. So when she retired, she brought that drama into the community, and the Arts Council was in charge. They used to bring in Missoula Kids Theater, which Missoula, Missoula, sure where they're from, Missoula. They travel the world, and they have professional people who are trained in theater. You know, they have college degrees in theater, just starting out. They do the main character parts, and then travel the country teaching groups of kids the supporting character parts in these beautiful little Disney musicals, Disney Junior musicals, different stories. They've done Aladdin. They did a whole bunch of different. Oh gosh, I can't even think of right now all the things that all the shows that they have done. But they're all like Disney shows, popular shows that you would know about. I know the kids 5 nights a week they rehearse. Now the Missoula will come in at the beginning of one week. They will run a audition, and their audition is kind of interesting to watch because they do a group audition. So they got all the kids auditioning at once, so nobody gets scared or anything, and they walk around and they listen to each kid, and they can pick and choose which kids go from there. And it's a lot of fun. But they take the kids, and then in one week, 5 days actually, 5 days, they teach the kids the entire show with, of course, the one director adult leading the group as the main character. But it is amazing what they can get these kids to do. And at the end of the week, they put on the production. And I've been in theater for 12 years, and I hate to admit this, but my husband, I have drug him to my shows forever. But several times I brought him with me to the Missoula shows, and he says he really enjoys those shows. I had to drag him the first time. After that, I didn't have to drag him anymore because he likes those shows a lot better than he liked the adult shows. The kids are phenomenal in what they can learn in that week, and what little performers they can become. But besides the Missoula that the Arts Council brought in, they would do Mesquite Kids on Stage every summer. And this was like a summer-long 6-week project, 6 or 8 weeks, that Jenny Bennett, the Virgin Valley Elementary School music teacher, and Susan, her mother-in-law, Susan would direct. Jenny was the musical director. I remember we did Alice in Wonderland the first year I got involved with them, and I did all the props and some of the costumes for that show. And these kids were amazing. They would come in 5 days a week, a couple hours during the day. They would do the rehearsals, and they had an absolutely phenomenal production at the end of their 6 or 8 weeks of working. This was like a summer camp, and that was run by the Arts Council. So with that, you didn't just have Susan, who was directing, and Jenny, who was taking care of the music, but you had a lot of volunteers who were needed to coordinate the kids, because they did work the kids in age brackets. A 5-year-old's ability isn't going to be the same as a 17-year-old's. And Susan, being the wonderful drama teacher that she was, and Jenny, knowing what she knows about the children that she works with, they broke them down in age groups that worked out perfectly. So we had people who needed to be responsible for those particular age groups. We needed people who did with me, helped with props, painting and creating, and that was a lot of fun. Patty Amora, I met her there. So she got involved, Jenna Grubb got involved. So I made like long-term friendships. Patty and I have been friends ever since. So it was a good way. She just happened to be walking by one day and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I told her, and she said, "Well, I'd like to help." And so that it was just that easy for her to get involved. And they need set builders and all kinds of creative people. And if you're not creative and you just like to, herd children in and out of dressing rooms or on and off the stage, that's really beneficial and helpful too. Trust and believe. Virgin Valley Theater Group, again, when they're doing a production, you don't have to be an actor. We need curtain pullers. We need prop masters. We need set builders. They need people helping with costume design, um, audience members, ticket sales, concession sales. I mean, there is no lack of any kind of variety of things to do, that's for sure. There are volunteers all over. Backstage, stage managing. If you want to learn to be a director, they will teach you to do that. And they've got really good, very experienced directors that will help you do that. The Virgin Valley Theater Group also has a couple of new writers, Sue Kelson and Nancy Arnold, who did um, melodrama. It was hokey, it was over the top, and it was the best fun ever. I've done a lot of shows over the years, and I've had fun in every one of them, but I gotta say that doing that melodrama, the rehearsals, and the drama, the performance and everything itself was just over the top. I mean, and Nancy and Sue really kind of pushed us to be silly and funny and outrageous, and there were a lot of laughs. So I mean, you will definitely have a good time becoming involved in almost any aspect of it. Trust and believe the people that were watching us act silly and stuff like that, I had their input too. Lots of laughs. They got their little snorts and chuckles in all along, and we don't mind. It's part of the acting process and creative process on stage. You got to be willing to do something, and you're going to get laughed at. But I'll tell you, when you're on stage, if you get that first laugh, it is like the best thing in the world. That's what got me hooked. My first play was Plaza Suite, and I never did any acting. I actually didn't even go to those auditions expecting to audition. I went there to build sets, and Ed McKenzie, who was the director and our theater founder, he founded the Virgin Valley Theater Group, and he and Susan together founded the Mesquite Community Theater, or developed it. He created it. It used to be an old elementary school. I think that was the principal's office that is now the theater, and it was their old auditorium. But a lot of work, $365,000 that I know of personally went into the renovations there. And again, that was Bob Nelson. The initial $300,000 was Bob Nelson, and some of his design and ideas get going. So anytime you see Bob, you can thank him for just absolutely wonderful little theater that we have here. But anyway, Plaza Suite, like I said, I got involved with it because I went to do props and build sets, and Ed talked me into auditioning, and I did. And I never expected to get a part, but when he called me, it was, oh, okay. I was nervous. I had a partner who kept telling me, don't you dare forget a line. I hate it when people forget lines. It just drives me crazy. So yeah, I've never gotten beyond that. Thank you, George Dappling, because he's the one who got it into my head. Boy, don't drop lines. Don't drop lines. You really do kind of mess up your partner too there, or whoever you're acting against when you do that. So he had me nervous, so nervous when I went out on stage for the first time. So I, not to drop a line, and I don't know, the first laugh I got, the nerves just kind of like, just fell off, just discarded them like they never existed in the first place. It was the best high in the world, and I just went, and I never dropped a line in that show, although George did. So there are great times. I mean, I've got all of these great memories, and you can too. All you have to do is look to get involved. And then there's the art gallery, the Virgin Valley Artists Association. not only is this a great group of artist ladies, but I mean, they do a lot of things in the community. They do student art. They run every month, the gallery has a different exhibit, and their exhibits are themed. You can enter into the exhibit as an artist, or you can go and just enjoy and then vote, um, because they do at the end of each exhibit. The exhibits run a month, and usually the third Thursday of the month they do a gala at the gallery, and it's always really, they have appetizers, and these ladies, some champagne sometimes wine. I don't know this year if they're going to be doing that or not. I'm not sure. COVID has different rules, so don't, I'm talking about what in a normal year what they do. But their galas, then they vote on mayor's choice, sponsor's choice, because each gallery exhibit is sponsored by a different organization in town. I know Barb Elstad always sponsored one herself. Farmers Insurance sponsors them a lot, and other. Bill Mitchell, he's one of the big sponsors, and other organizations as well. And it's open to anybody who wants to sponsor an exhibit. You know, all the money goes to help the local artists, support the gallery, and culture classes, scholarships, all kinds of things that they do. But during the gala, they offer prizes for first, second, and third place. People's Choice, which is where we come in. Just being spectators, you can go in there, look through, and drop a little slip that says which is your favorite artist, and they may win a cash prize. They certainly have a ribbon saying that their artwork was liked and appreciated. So that's a big plus for people. The artwork that they do there, you would be surprised. I'm just going to mention a couple of my favorite artists. One of them is Floyd Johnson. I love Floyd's work, and he does a lot of celebrity work. He has done John Wayne, he's done James Dean, he's done Elvis Presley, he's done Marilyn Monroe. He did a poster for one of our productions, which was beautiful, for the Sunshine Boys. Unfortunately, the show was canceled, but the poster is just absolutely incredible. He did, and it was in the gallery for a while, and I think this made the gallery change some rules too. But Floyd is an outside of the box type of artist, and he loves the Doors. He's a fan of the Doors and Jim Morrison, so he did a picture of Jim Morrison on a door, and he hung it in the gallery. And that was quite a challenge for them during that particular exhibit. So I think they changed some rules because of Floyd's artwork there. But he does some huge pieces, he does little pieces, but they're all very well done. And I just think he's an incredible artist. But he also, Kathleen Ludwig, who has more of a, I'm not really an artsy person, so I couldn't tell you what style. To me, it's kind of a poster-esque type of style. She's very bold colors and very bold outlines on her. I'm sorry about my dogs. Apparently, somebody's walking their dog in front of my house, so they're out there barking. But so. Kathleen's, like I said, poster-esque, very bold outlines and everything. So her and Floyd will work together and collaborate on a lot of pieces, and they turn out absolutely fantastic. They've taken a lot of prizes in the competitions in the gallery before. And Bunny Wiseman, you can't beat her. She's a fantastic artist. She paints, she draws, she does colored pencil. She's oil. She's into oil paints, but she's a fantastic teacher, and I really haven't seen that she's instructing any classes right now. But look for her classes if she ever decides to come back to teaching. I know she travels a lot, right now, so she's probably doing that. But if you get a chance or an opportunity to take any of Bunny's classes, I don't care. Like I said a couple days ago, even if you don't think you can draw a stick figure, a bunny can teach you to draw. She is an amazing and incredible teacher. So, and the art gallery has all kinds of classes that they run. Every day of the week, you can learn watercolor. They've got a pottery class, all separate from the gallery itself, over on the campus, on the other side of the campus, and around the corner from the gallery by the community theater campus. They've got a pottery studio, and I believe a little store there where you can buy some art supplies and things that they keep on hand for the artist in case you run out of something and need a quick shop on some product. Let's see, Shar Lang, she's one of the teachers there. Oh gosh, I can't think of they have a lot of different teachers. Jean Battaglia, she does paper toll, and I love dropping in on her classes. I know her classes are on Thursday mornings, and it's all about, you don't have to be an artist because you take what's already there and you cut it out and you layer it so that it's like a three-dimensional picture, and they're just wonderful. They're beautiful. So she does that, and there's a class on that. You can get into oil painting, acrylic painting, watercolors, again, the pottery. They've got the wheels that you can rent studio time if you do your own. They have a kiln. I know you can rent kiln time, not kill time, kiln time. So there are a lot of activities just within the arts organizations. So we'll talk about some of the other organizations probably tomorrow. We'll talk about a few more, but these are the organizations that I know very near and dear to myself. That, again, there's a plethora of things to do within the organization itself. And just because the organization might be a performing arts organization or an artist organization, there are things for beginners to learn to do. If you've ever wanted to learn to draw, it costs $10. Drop in, take a class. If you like it, you can keep coming. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to come back. And all you've done is had a nice hour or an hour and a half long visit with some friendly people. Learned that you maybe don't like to draw, or maybe you learned that you do like to draw. It's worth a try. It's always worth a try. With theater, if you don't like, maybe you come in doing stages, maybe stage design, and you figure, well, that's just too much work for an old person like yourself. And I say that because that's what happened to me. I did stage design for like 6 years, and then after a while, building those sets, lifting even the flats, that's what we called them, because they were just fake walls with a very thin sheeting of luan, which served as the drywall. Even lifting those was getting to be very difficult for, as you get older. And then Glenn Bjornson came in 2013, and I really didn't want to do any sets anymore because there's just no competition with the sets that Glenn can build. He's pretty good. And I think they found, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, but they've got another guy who was in Sun City, and I don't know, with this whole thing with the COVID and the shutdown for the last year, I'm not sure who's still around or not anymore. I know Glenn's still around, but they have found somebody else who did pretty good job of doing the sets as well. I just don't know if he's stuck around for the last year or not. We'll have to see when the theater opens back up and when their productions start to begin again, which I hope is going to be soon. The Toes again on the 17th, 16th, April 16th and 17th are starting it up with their spectacular. So we can't wait for that. And again, this weekend we have the Beaver Dam Swap Meet. That is Saturday and Sunday. Starts at 11. I think the tables for the swap meet, if you want to be a vendor, are $10. I guarantee you there'll be a lot of people out there. So, if you've got garage sale items, anything that, even fundraising. If you have an organization that you haven't had a chance to have your garage sale fundraiser this year because it was shut down, bring it out to the Beaver Dam Swap Meet. Set up a table or two. I mean, it's $10 for a booth space. It's not $10. I don't think it's $10 per table. Bill Evans is a pretty reasonable guy when it comes to that. So, I mean, your spot. Get rid of some of that stuff that you might have stored up and you just don't have room. Maybe you want to collect some more. Who knows? Carly, maybe you and Beth. Who knows? There are lots of things. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about all that's going up for this weekend. Yeah. Little League again, 5 and 7:30 tonight. These little athletes are wonderful young people. Come out and support them, support Little League, even the moral support, the cheers and whatnot. The kids all appreciate all of that stuff. So, what is going on? Let's see what is going on today at the library. There are always classes. I know they do the story times early in the morning. And that's always the little kids absolutely love that. I don't know if you have ever been to the Mesquite Library or not, but if you've never been to the library, like I said the other day, and I'll keep repeating it, they have got a story section in the library that is absolutely fantastic. They've got hand puppets, they've got costumes for kids to dress up in. It is amazing the things that they are able to do at the library anymore. They've got 3D printing and all kinds of stuff. And sometimes at the library, and I haven't seen any, I've got to really get on there. They run a lot of tech classes, so you might want to, as the library starts opening up for more events and activities, they do run really good tech classes for, like, if you want to learn WordPerfect, Microsoft Word, Excel programs. They do programs to help you navigate certain programs on your cell phone. If you don't know how to use a cell phone really well, smartphone usage, Facebook, they help you navigate Facebook and certain social media sites. So, that's going to build back up. Again, they're not running a full schedule of classes like they normally do. And nothing is normal right now. But when it does get back to normal, and I'm hearing things like May 10th or May 1st. So we'll see how that goes. But once those classes get up and a full schedule is going, the Mesquite Library, you cannot beat that for educational opportunities, classes, talks, discussions. They have conference rooms where you yourself, if you want to get a group of people together, you can go in and use their conference rooms. There's also places like the Women's History and Culture Center that once they get going and start up a full schedule, they've got a lot of different health and wellness classes, Reiki. Once a month they do full moon ceremonies, a lot of different things. They also have space available if you need it, if you want to run a class. Talk to Carol or Jean. They can fit you into the schedule, and they have a conference room available that you can utilize that space. So think about that if that's something that you always wanted to do. They also have a kitchen, so they have the availability if you want to run a cooking class. And again, I don't know what COVID guidelines are for each individual group right now. You'd have to check with that individual group. Some of them, like, I know that right now in the concession stands, we can't serve anything that isn't prepackaged, because of guidelines and health regulations. So again, you'll have to check with the specific leaders of each organization, but I do know they have run in the past. They've done cooking classes, and Christopher Finnegan did Christmas thing for the kids, where the kids were in there and they were able to bake their own cookies, and they had a wonderful time doing it. So, when you're thinking of things to do around town, even if there isn't something already available to do, and there's something you have always wanted to get people together and try, there's an opportunity for you to start something up. It's Mesquite has that wonderful ability. Again, it's a town. It's run by a lot of volunteers, and I'm going to give a great shout out to one of the volunteers in Mesquite that probably does. I don't know. She does everything. She works with Raise, the Salvation Army. She does the kids, golf for kids. Oh gosh, a lot of the things for kids for Christmas and the toys and stuff. There's activities, golf outings and things that all do that, and that's Karen Fielding. Karen has been Mesquite's cheerleader for as long as I've lived in Mesquite, since 2007, and I'm sure long before that, because she is one of the first major players I ever ran across, only because she puts herself out there. If there is an organization in town, the Showgirls she's worked with senior games, theater group. I really honestly don't think there's an organization. I'd be hard pressed to find one anyway, an organization in Mesquite that Karen hasn't lent her skills, abilities, body, heart, and soul to. If you see Karen Fielding, you really just gotta say thanks. There are a lot of people who fall short on help sometimes. You may have a dozen volunteers, but you need that 13th person, or you may have 10 and you need that 11th, and Karen is always available to be that 11th person. And sometimes she's the very first one to volunteer her services. She's got her pet projects, like the golf for kids. She loves doing that for the kids. And she's got her personal reasons for doing that, mainly because she had received help a long time ago when she needed it. And now she pays everything forward to the city that took care of her in the biggest way possible. And so shout out to Karen Fielding. She's like Mesquite's biggest volunteer, in my eyes anyway. So wonderful person and always willing to help. So that's our show for today. I will hopefully see you all out on the ball field or at the concession stand, because I'll be there with Carly and Beth and some other volunteers tonight at 5. And until tomorrow, I wish you all peace, love, happiness, and lots of sunshine. Have a good day.